Double linked lists are an extension to the single linked list data structure. So, before you proceed ahead, make sure that you have a good understanding of the single linked list first. If you want a quick refresher, check out my introductory video on linked lists. Okay, so you want to learn about double linked list now. But before that, take a moment to think, why do you even need a new data structure when you already have a linked list data structure available to you? Well, if you understand a single linked list correctly, then you must also be aware that there are certain limitations with it. For example, if you lose the pointer to your head node, then there is a very good chance that you have lost your entire list. Today, I will show you a way to overcome all such limitations. Hello friends, welcome back to Study Algorithms, a place where I make programming fun and easy to learn. All the code examples discussed on my channel are also available on my GitHub profile. I am including a link in the description below. So, here is what we will do. First, I will expand upon the limitations of a single linked list and what problems do you generally face. Next, I will show you the general structure of a double linked list and how does it address all of those concerns that you are facing with the single linked list. Going forward, I will show you a sample code to construct a very simple double linked list and how you can iterate it from the forward and from the backward. Note that I will be covering all of the operations on a double linked list in a separate video because first of all, I want that the concept of a double linked list should be clear to you. So without further ado, let's get started. Let us first try to look at a single linked list. How do you identify the starting points and the end points? You have a head pointer that points to any random location in your CPU memory, right? Now, what you do is you assign this head pointer the value 4 and then you can create a list. The next of 4 is 8, the next of 8 is 15, the next of 15 is 16, and the next of 16 is null. So now you know that 16 is the last node and 4 is the first node that is pointed to head. So this head pointer is any random location in the CPU memory, right? From there, you get a starting point and you can traverse this list. But think about a case when you lose this head pointer. What do you do now? You have no way to identify that, okay, this is where my list starts from. Even if you have a pointer to node number 15, then too, you can only traverse in the forward direction. You know that the next of 15 is 16, but you do not have any way that you can go back to identify that, hey, 8 was my previous element. This is a limitation of this kind of a structure. You must always have the location of your head pointer. You have to store it in a variable. If for some reason you lose it, then you have kind of literally lost your linked list, right? Because you cannot look into random locations in your memory and identify your element. So this becomes one major limitation that you can only go in the forward direction. You can never iterate in the backward direction. Also, to perform any operation on a single linked list, you always start from the first node, right? Suppose you have to go to the second last node. You will start from the first node and go all the way to the end, right? If you want to delete a node in the middle, you will again start from the head node, go to the desired node, and then delete the element. To insert a node, you again start from the beginning, go to the position, and then you insert a new node. This is why the head node is really important and you cannot afford to lose it. Another limitation of this structure is that some operations can be really hard to perform. What if you have to reverse this list? You will have to update all of your pointers, right? You will have to change the head pointer to number 16 and then update all of these pointers such that the list becomes in a reverse direction. So you find certain limitations with this data structure. How can you improve upon them? Wouldn't it be nice if you could find a way to travel both in the forward direction and in the backward direction? This is where a double linked list comes to your rescue. Let me show you how does the structure of a double list node looks like. Let us first create a node and we assign some value to it. If this was a single linked list, what would you have done? You would have created a next pointer and then you can add new values to the next of this node, right? But this is a double linked list. So what you will simply do, you will add a previous pointer also. And if you want to add new values to the previous of this node, then you will use this previous pointer. So now you have a way to iterate in the next direction or in the previous direction. This must give you some hint how a double linked list works. If you want to go in the next direction, you do a node.next, and if you want to go in the reverse direction, you do a node.previous. So in our code also, we assign a value, we have a previous pointer, and we have a next pointer. When you are creating a single node, then you do not have any values to the left or right. So what you will do? You will assign the previous and next to null. That means you cannot go in either directions. So the next and previous of this node would be null. This is how a structure of a double linked list looks like. Now let us try to take advantage of this structure and actually create a working list. Let's say you want to create a double linked list with the values 4, 8, 15, and 16. What is the first step that you do? You create 4 nodes with these values. Now, if this was a single linked list and your starting point was 4, what would you have done? You would have assigned the next values, right? Up till now, if you're given the pointer to the first node that is 4, you can easily iterate in the forward direction, correct? But let us now try to take advantage of the double linked list. In a double linked list, what we would have is each node would also have a previous pointer. But how do you assign these previous values? The previous of 16 would be 15, the previous of 15 would be 8, and the previous of 8 would be 4. You might notice that we don't have a previous of 4. So in this case, the previous of 4 would be null. Now look at this list once again. No matter wherever you are, let us say I am at this pointer. I can iterate in any direction. I can go forward until I reach null, or I can go backward until I reach null. So this is giving me a very good advantage over the single linked list. If this was a single linked list, you couldn't have gone in the backward direction. Similarly, if you are at pointer number 3, then too you can traverse in any of the directions. So this is how a double linked list is very advantageous. You can think about more applications and examples where this list would come in handy. Think about how does your web browser work? It has the forward and backward buttons, right? This is first page, this is second page, this is third page, and this is fourth page. Now, if you want to go back, you can simply do a previous operation and come back to your previous page, right? On a similar concept, you can also have your undo and redo operations. You can store all of the operations in your list, and based upon what the user is clicking, if it's a redo, just go to the next direction. If it's an undo, go to the previous direction. So these are all the places where a double linked list comes in very handy. As I said earlier, I will discuss all of these operations in a separate video. For now, just try to absorb what is actually happening and how does the list behave. To simplify it even further for you, I am showing you a very quick example of a code and we will try to create this list. If you look at the left side of your screen, this is the code that we will use to create a simple double linked list of 3 nodes, and those have the value 4, 8, and 15. So initially, what we do is we just create 3 nodes. These nodes are independent right now, and the next and previous of all of these nodes are null, right? We have to actually start linking them so they become a double linked list. In the next step, we start linking them. So first of all, we will link L1 and L2. We say that L1.next equals to L2, and we also have to connect them backwards. So we say L2.previous equals to L1. You can see that nodes L1 and L2 are connected now. Similarly, We will now try to link L2 and L3. We say that L2.next equals to L3 and L3.previous equals to L2. Do you remember how the next and previous of all the nodes were null initially? So the previous of 4 still remains null and the next of 15 still remains null. We have now linked all of the nodes in our double linked list. Let us now try to iterate over them and see if our double linked list actually works. I create a temp node that points at L1. So what I would do is I would print out the value of the temp node and I will do a next operation. So I start from 4, I do a next and I print 8, I do a next and I print 15, and ultimately I stop at null. So we were able to traverse in the forward direction. Let us try to see if it works in the backward direction also. Once again, I assign my temporary variable to the last node that was L3. And this time we will try to go in a previous direction and print out the value. So I print out the first value, that is 15, and then I do a temp.priv. So it will go at 8. It prints a 8. It will again do a temp.priv, and this time it will reach 4. Once again, when it will try to do a temp.priv, it will land at null, and ultimately this loop will stop. So you can see that we were easily able to iterate in the forward direction and we were easily able to iterate in the backward direction also. I hope I was able to simplify the structure of a double linked list for you. As per my final thoughts, take a moment to think what could be the disadvantages of using a double linked list. On paper, it seems very flexible and very nice, right? You can iterate in the front and you can iterate from the back. So, what are the disadvantages? Why not just use a double linked list every time? Well, one of the reasons is that it requires extra space. Think about it. For every element, you need one next and one previous. So, for every element, you need two extra spaces. Now, think about a case when you have very large computations. You would be wasting a lot of space just to store the next and previous pointers. And it is not necessary that you need the addresses of the previous node and the next node at all times. So always go on a case by case basis. You must understand, okay, a single linked list would be helpful over here and a double linked list would be helpful over here. What other advantages and disadvantages can you think when comparing single linked lists and a double linked list? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and I would love to discuss all of them with you. You would be also glad to know that a text-based explanation to this content is available on the website studyalgorithms.com. I am including a link in the description below. As a reminder, if you found this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This motivates me to make more and more such videos where I can simplify programming for you. Also let me know what would you like to learn next. Until then, see ya.